All right, Shalom. All praise to Yahweh Hashem, Yahushua Hashem, Rakakadash. The honest apostle, elders, great millstone, and peace and salutations to you sincere brothers out there pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. And real quick, I just wanted to dive into the scriptures because I was thinking about some things, meditating upon some things, and right in front of the river right here. Yeah, the Mississippi River, but this is 1 Samuel 17:51. We're all familiar with the story of David. And one thing about the story of David, the Most High chose a young man, he used him, and he had him, destroy, the champion of the Philistines, which at the time was like the strongest. Well, really it was Israel, but at the time they were one of the strongest armies on the earth. Because I was just thinking about even now, right? You had George H.W. Bush, the damn devil, just croak at 95, and he got to live, to see his empire still growing. And of course, us brothers being spiritual, we were real mad about that because we wanted him to wait until on the Lord, for him to go into slavery or whatever. But he's gonna get his in the end anyway. And one of the things he did against the Israelites, we know, which is a documentary called The Panama Deception. He went down there to Panama, and against innocent civilians, they had laser guided missiles, lasers, stealth bombers. Those are the first time that those were premiered. And this was way back, I believe in 89. So this is the 80s where they're using lasers. Of course, we know about stealth bombers. And of course, we know about laser guided missiles. And that's back in the 80s. So if they had all that shit back then, what do they have now? And we know you even go to the store, like I was just at the store, they got all kinds of shit in there. They got all kind of home cameras and Ring cameras and all kind of features and gadgets and electronics and stuff. And Esau, he'll never give you the same shit that he has. He'll always stay a couple of levels above, so they can, if they need to come get you, they can come get you. They got all kind of shit, of course, online they could do, electronically and shit. And it's just hey, you'll drive yourself crazy trying to think about all the different shit that this man could do with his technology and with all his devices and all of the stuff that we're not seeing. But the story of David is a comfort. This book is the great comforter for us because it shows us what our power really can do. All these stories where our people got carnal, they got dumb, they trusted in the idols, they trusted in what they could do with their own hands because the Lord blessed us with talent. But then when the time came and the test came that the Lord sent, our people didn't have any faith. And the Lord rose up certain men who were inspired to bring that faith about in Israel. And it happens over and over again. One of the top stories being David and Goliath, which, that's considered, that's an iconic story in itself, even with Esau, because for some reason they think that they're King David. Even though they're the biggest bully on the earth, they go around in these other countries, bombing them, destroying them, killing them, controlling the media. And some of them, because a lot of them know that they're Edomites, but some of them really think that they're the underdog. David was the underdog. And it was through his faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua he was able to defeat Goliath. I'm gonna just read the end of it though. It's 1 Samuel 17:51. Therefore David ran and stood upon the Philistine and took his sword, drew it out of the sheath thereof, and slew him, and cut off his head therewith. And when the Philistines saw their champion was dead, they fled. And the men of Israel and of Judah arose and shouted and pursued the Philistines And until thou come to the valley, to the gates of Ekron, and the wounded of the Philistines fell down by the way to Sheraim, even unto Gath, and unto Ekron. And the children of Israel returned from chasing after the Philistines, and they spoiled their tents. And David took the head of the Philistine and brought it to Jerusalem, but he put his armor in his tent. And when Saul saw David go forth against the Philistine, he said unto Abner, the captain of the host, Abner, whose son is this youth? And Abner said, as thy soul liveth, O king, I cannot tell. So even amongst Israel, because you know you had order in Israel them days too, you had all of that stuff too. Even amongst Israel, David was kind of he wasn't really out of a well-to-do family. I believe earlier it says his father, came to live amongst men when he was old. Let me see. It's like I should have marked it earlier. Okay. I don't see it. That's okay. But I believe it said his father, came amongst Israel when he was old. And so, David he wasn't out of a well-to-do family. I mean, all Israel was royalty, but, of course you had the house of Saul already established. Salaki, I lost my spot. Yep, and Abner said, as thy soul liveth, O king, I cannot tell. And the king said, inquire thou whose son the stripling is, which a stripling is stripling, which is Ilam. A young man, a lad. He was young. And as David returned from the slaughter of the Philistine, Abner took him and brought him before Saul with the head of the Philistine in his hand. And Saul said to him, whose son art thou, thou young man? And David answered, I am the son of thy servant Jesse the Bethlehemite. It came to pass when he had made an end of speaking unto Saul that the soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. Right, kind of. Saul took him that day and would let him go no more home to his father's house. Then Jonathan and David made a covenant because he loved him as his own soul. So basically, it's going to go into some more things, but matter of fact, I'm going to jump to verse 5. And David went out whithersoever Saul sent him and behaved himself wisely. And Saul set him over the men of war, and he was accepted in the sight of all the people and also in the sight of Saul's servants. There you go. So he behaved himself wisely, and he was accepted and set over men of war as a young man, because the Lord used him for so much. And, this coming up, this is going to be our ultimate test, because we're coming against the most carnal man in history, the most carnal people in history, Amalek and Esau. Amalek being the chief alpha, Esau. Amalek has always celebrated when our temples fall. They were the first ones to attack us when we came out of Egypt. The most carnal and wicked family in history, the house of Esau. And all the prophecies about Esau, the son of perdition, the son of the wicked, all of that is clear. It's clear who he is. We don't have to guess. We don't have to jump around. Hey, that's why we give double honors to our elders and to our apostles, because they gave us that information that was given to them by their elders. This is Jeremiah 23:1. Because even today, something I noticed driving around, being out early, you still got a lot of people going to church. You got a lot of people going to church. They wanna read select scriptures. The scriptures say, "Blessed is he that readeth." They want to read select scriptures, read select things, and then never look it up, never research it, never go into it. But you base your life around something that they teach you, but you don't want to do any other research to basically what's the word I'm looking for? Reassert what you know. You know what I'm saying? Just like anything you go into the herbs, you're gonna look at different books. You're gonna look it up online. If the books all match up, then okay, they're on point. If you might get some extract or something, you're gonna read the back of the box or the back of the bottle, and then you're gonna kind of look it up online just to double check, everything that they're telling me. It's gonna reassert everything that you know about it, and once you read it from multiple sources, you know it to be true to a certain extent. To the exceptions to every rule. But dealing with these people, they don't want to do any research. They don't want to have any knowledge of the history either. Even amongst Christians, most of them, they don't even deal with the theological research of it. They don't even want to get into the theological terms and the exegesis and all these different things that people have studied out. Most of them don't even know. They can't even give you a bare bones timeline of the Bible. They can't give you a little brief summary, because even if you go into different parts of the Bible, you should be able to give a brief summary of who's speaking, who they're speaking to, and kind of a roundabout time of when the things are happening. And most of those Christians, they can't do that. They can just call and jump around to random verses that are pinnacles in Christianity. But then when we come with the counter verses, they can't deal with it. They can't put two and two together. And it's like that because the scriptures talk about some people are just not given understanding. Woe be unto the pastors that scatter and destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Lord. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people, ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, saith the Lord. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries whither I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. And that's talking about the Gentiles. He said, I will gather the remnant of my flock. Okay, the Lord is only dealing with Israel. So the remnant of the flock of Israel. And I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them, and shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith the Lord. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and the king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. There you go. So, and we know that was done, but in the top part of this, the prophecy, where he said he would gather the remnant of his flock, that's going to be done again too. That's being done now. The remnant of the Lord's flock is being gathered up. Okay, that's why you have men. It's not by coincidence that you have men all over the earth bringing out the scriptures. I put it like that. Knowing that they're Israelites. All these people in the society of so-called diversity, you got people who are homos, who are trannies, who are into pedophilia, they get a voice. They could be different. They could do all that shit. Even Muslims, even these different religions, Buddhists and, Scientologists, all these people get a voice of diversity. We say we're Israelites. No, can't be true. So even though you have white people, so-called Edomites, bringing out the history of the so-called people in Israel, even though the scriptures talk about, when the Lord brings the people back into Israel, he's going to make that land a paradise. And he's going to build up, the third temple. So, and it just, when you really read into the Bible, you know that this shit is bull. You know that the shit over there is not what the Lord is talking about. And I just got one more. This is Jeremiah 6:16. Thus saith the Lord, this is one of my favorite scriptures. Stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way? And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. There you go. And that's the same thing that people are doing today. We come out with the Bible, we come out reading the scriptures, and that's what they say. But look, that's old that's old stuff. That's outdated. You're supposed to go into the old ways, because, just for an example, how cold these ancient world people were. They had knowledge of the herbs. They weren't getting sick like now. They didn't have all the diseases we have now. They didn't have all the problems we have now. Unless the Lord cursed you with an illness or something. Even I was looking on YouTube. They're still trying to figure out how the pyramids were built. They still can't figure it out. They got all these scientists, all these engineers, construction people. They still can't figure out how the pyramids were built. Was it aliens? Was it, was it some godlike force? Which that's what it was. It was the people of the Most High. But they still can't figure it out. I just put it like that, because the Lord gifted his people with that ability. And we were in those old ways and those old paths, and we knew and understood how to do certain things. So, and this society, it's impressive to have somebody who, does a technical school for 4 years or something, and maybe they could do some construction, or they do like a diesel mechanic or something. In the ancient world, imagine you have been learning construction and learning all this math and all these different things since the age of 12. And then you would learn those things for years and years. Of course you can do that kind of shit. And the Lord is blessing you. So the Lord is going to bring us back into greater things, into greater things. Even said that you will do greater things than I. Hey, so with that being said, man, all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. I hope this was edifying. Just keep the push, keep going. And the Lord is going to keep his spirit on us, Lord willing, to keep doing the things that he's asked us to do. It's like the scriptures say, I will never ask you to do more. I will never put more burden on you than you can bear. And Lord willing, we keep that spirit, we keep fighting, and we finally can get the hell out of here. Shalom.